Good morning, America. How are you? I'm Rabbi Dave, and, you know, it's just another week to talk about myself, I guess.
Good morning, America. I am Friar Rod, and I sure hope you liked our opener because, hey, there's a lot more of that happening over the next weeks.
We tried to show it here in the chat, but I don't know that it worked that well, so we'll see how it shows up on the video. And
yeah,
I'll probably have to splice it in the old way because, you know, I have to do everything because I am the star of the show.
Well, yeah, I really don't contribute much. I'm just your NPC, Dave.
Speaking of which, though, we must start this morning with an emergency declaration. If you are listening in Los Angeles, you might want to take cover. No, I'm not making this up. It's not a fire, although there probably will be.
There probably will.
It's not a flood, although there probably will be. There is a 96% chance?
Something like that. 95% chance
of a major earthquake in Los Angeles today, which is June 21st, 2026. In case you're listening to this, years later, you'll notice that we warned everybody so that when you see all the news stories or when you get the news programs about what happened on this day and why didn't anybody say anything, you won't be able to say it because I did tell you. Dave, the main character of everything, did warn you that there may be an earthquake. There will be an earthquake today.
Yeah. Did you see though that the San Andreas Fault was not happy that announcement went out?
I did see that. Now, was the San Andreas Fault X-count, were they mad because they were warning people, or were they mad because now they got to get up and do an earthquake?
I think they were warning people. Mad they were warning people.
And they didn't want
the San Andreas Fault is a funny X account to follow. You got to follow it. They're funny.
So I have no idea. It's kind of a joke, but I did interview a guy many years ago, David Nabham, who's actually a pretty good friend on Facebook and likes that. He's a scientist who had an idea for how to predict earthquakes and had actually written a book about it. And it has to do with the moon phase and timing of that kind of stuff. And I don't remember all the details. It was a pretty good book, and it actually makes sense. I have no idea if there's actually a 95% chance of a major earthquake in Los Angeles today or not. I'm sorry.
That was the earthquake prediction account. I have no idea.
Los Angeles. Got to pronounce it correctly. So, anyway, I have no idea if it's really going to happen or not. But if it does, we were first. If it doesn't, well, we wouldn't be the only ones predicting an earthquake in Los Angeles that doesn't happen. So there you go. Everybody on board with that?
They've been warning this for a while now, I guess, for a little while.
Every day. See,
the 21st. They're saying it's 98% today.
See, this is why I don't buy into these predictions, like Nostradamus and that crap. Because all you got to do is predict every day. Today there will be a major earthquake in Los Angeles. There will be a major earthquake there. And if you keep predicting it every single day, and then you only publicize the one time that you got it right, everybody will be impressed with you. See, right? That's how you do it. That's how Nostradamus did it. You write a bunch of poetry that's really bad and indecipherable and meaningless, and then you say 100 years later, oh, see, I predicted that.
Yeah.
In this quatrain. That's how you do that. And then you get people today who go, well, Nostradamus was right. Even though you wouldn't have known that, 100 years ago. Sorry. I've got
or Baba Yaga or something like that, right? It's so incomprehensible are some of what they say. You could make it out to be anything.
Right. and they do that. So anyway, I don't know if there's an earthquake in Los Angeles or not. Did you see this whole Los Angeles thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so complete aside, this is not on the schedule for today. Jamie Lee Curtis was being interviewed by somebody I have no idea who.
Okay.
And some media figure. And Jamie Lee Curtis, who, I mean, let's face facts. For guys my generation, my age, Jamie Lee Curtis holds a very special place in our hearts and our minds.
Okay.
It is. But she kept calling it Los Angeles.
Really?
I guess the person she was interviewing got upset about that, and they actually got into an argument in the interview on air about the pronunciation of the town. And it ended with the media figure saying, if I had a jury right now, they'd vote for my side.
Well, the media figure is just an NPC in her world, right?
Right. Yes, that's probably true. And mine too, but that's the way it goes. So it was an interesting week. Of course, we had has it been a week now since the national celebration on the National Mall?
I think so.
Followed by Algae Gate.
Oh.
This might be the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. I was stationed in Washington, D.C. for a little while. Been to Washington, D.C. many times. Took my son there a couple of years ago. There's a Clive Cussler book that describes one of his scenes is set on the Washington Mall. Mm-hmm. And that's actually where I learned that the reflecting pools are only a maximum of 18 inches deep, and that they've always been covered with algae. That's part of it's like the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty's actual color is copper, not green. Mm-hmm. But it's just part of life. So now we have people that are actually marching with signs in favor of returning the algae to the reflecting pools. We have people that have been caught. I'm not making this up. People who have been caught putting algae back into the reflecting pools.
Yeah. Or damaging the liner.
Right. Which is like, are you people like...
Well, it's anything against Trump, right?
Okay.
It's really...
Even if I thought that way, even if my entire life was, I hate Trump, don't I have anything better to do than to go down
Apparently
to the National Mall and pour algae into the reflecting pools? Is this going to make a statement that I, as the main character of this entire story, is this the point of my whole book? Is that I hate Trump so much that I'm going to pour algae into this?
Well, it's we must do something. This is something. Let's do it. Right?
I guess, but it just seems to me like it's, I don't know. I think since I'm writing my story, I think I'm going to find something more meaningful, more intelligent, more, I don't know, actual, something that people reading my story hundreds of years from now will go, hey, yeah, that's cool. As opposed to, yeah, and then Rod and I went down to the National Mall and dumped algae in the reflecting pools. Okay, why not put goldfish in the reflecting pools?
Yeah. Algae eating shrimp.
Ducks.
I mean, well,
I don't know.
Ducks.
It's so typical, though, of what's going on nowadays, which is, of course, we have now the protests that were going on. And of course, while this whole thing was going on the National Mall and the White House and the UFC thing, and we haven't even talked about the UFC thing. Look, I don't care for UFC.
I'm not a big fan either.
It's not that I don't. There's a line in Ocean's 11 where Carl Reiner is playing the Russian guy, and he says, "Would you like tickets to the fight?" And he says, "No, hand-to-hand combat does not interest me." And it's like, I searched everywhere for that meme because I couldn't find it. But I used to like boxing, and I still kind of like boxing because boxing isn't mayhem for the most part.
Yeah.
But MMA does nothing for me. I don't get the point. I really don't. Okay. but you have an MMA fight. Kind of like algae in the reflecting.
Oh, but Trump's a big fan of the MMA fighting. So I mean, it makes sense that he would do that.
I get it. And it's his birthday.
Yeah.
And of course, I think the main reason he does it, because in his story, where he's the main character, this pisses off liberals.
Oh, it does.
Who immediately responded with the whole, hey, this is not what was the word, dignified enough for the White House, which of course was followed by the hell is that?
What?
Is that on my end or your end? The squeaking. Never mind.
There's some birds in the background.
Oh, that's what it is. It's the birds. I'm used to them being here. So this was immediately followed by the right-wing social media posting the pictures of the transgender chick on the way up the Easter roll. Yeah,
bearing their breasts.
Yeah, real dignified. If you know anything about history, and hopefully you do, you know that dignity and White House have oftentimes in our history been mismatched. So, from Andrew Jackson's inaugural party, which was basically an open bar for the entire city, to the big wheel of cheese. Not making that up. One of the presidents had a big wheel of cheese that someone had given him. So he just put it out in the foyer and said, if you want some cheese, come get it. And you know my motto, don't waste cheese. So I don't know. But this, of course, was the whole thing was done. And most people didn't even know that the Democrat National Convention ran a counter program at the same time. I didn't watch either of them because A, I didn't care, but B, I caught the clips of the DNC one. And as I was telling Rod in the pregame, I didn't even know that was Bette Midler on the stage singing that song. I had no clue that was Bette Midler. If you had asked me, hey, do you know who that is? I could have had 100 guesses because it's my story. I would never have come up with Bette Midler. It doesn't even look like Bette Midler.
That much plastic surgery?
It doesn't look like her. It certainly didn't sound like her. It was terrible. But then again, maybe her performances were, shall we say, AI enhanced all along the way with a little auto-tune, some, string overlays and that, because maybe her voice actually really does in real life suck, because whoever was singing this stuff was not good. But I didn't know it was Bette Midler. And the way I found out it was Bette Midler.
Yeah.
This is amusing. The way I found out it was Bette Midler was because I took the words to the song that they were singing and decided to make a fake mockery song of it. And my computer kept spitting it back as copyright violation. Like, copyright violation? How could this be possibly? Are you telling me the DNC took this idiotic song that they were singing at this thing, ran to the trademark people and said, we want to copyright this song? Is that what you're telling me? No, it turns out it's an actual Bette Midler song that she did some time ago. And they adapted for this protest, this counter protest, which was, I don't want to say it was bad, but usually on social media, when something like this happens, you'll see people who are delusional and who are just praising it. Oh, it was so great. Oh, it was so wonderful. Oh, it was so this, it was that. You're not even seeing that. It's not happening. It's just
it's We Are the World great.
Don't even get me started.
That actually better.
No, the performance was better. I can tell you that. But the We Are the World performance was better.
Yeah.
But I also ran into a discussion this week about the history of that song and the subsequent concert, the Live Aid concert. And much like California was asking a few months ago, where did the money go?
Yeah.
Because you'll notice they still have famine with there. So where'd the money go?
Well, they're blaming Elon now for that, aren't they?
Well, that's part of the problem. Is that Elon is now a trillionaire. Or is he? because he lost some money this week, right? Lost $200 million, so.
Yeah, let me see where the stock is right now.
I don't know if he's a trillionaire anymore or not. Maybe he is. Maybe he ain't. The bottom line is that
it's sitting at 185 at the moment, but it was all the way up to 218, I think.
So he's lost quite a bit of money then.
He did. So he might not be a trillionaire anymore.
Might not be a trillionaire anymore. So all these people protesting this trillionaire, which is what set me off this week, was I had a long conversation with my son, who this week admitted to me that he's a leftist. But before you get, the conversation was not adversarial.
Okay.
And one of the things that my son, my soon-to-be 16-year-old son, admitted to me was the reason he's a leftist is because he's primarily exposed to leftist views.
Well, at least he acknowledges that.
And that's what I said. You control what you get on your YouTube and what your friends say. You're in charge of that. And then I said to him, and besides which, it doesn't bother me because there's a very old saying, Ben. I said, if you're not a liberal when you're a teenager, you're heartless. And then I said, and I'm not going to tell you the other half because it'll make you mad. But someday you'll get it. So I was actually pleased with that conversation. I really was.
Yeah.
But there were video after video of these protests over Elon Musk becoming a trillionaire. And one of them really bugged me. Really bugged me.
How
it
so?
was a bunch of kids, 10, 12 years old, preteens, at a Tesla store, I presume in California, before it was destroyed this morning by an earthquake, standing outside the place, holding signs that basically said, fuck Elon, fuck trillionaires, tax the rich.
Yeah.
And these 11, 12-year-old kids flipping off the camera, flipping the bird to the place. And I thought to myself, is that really what 11, 12, 13-year-olds are like now? Or
no. Shouldn't be.
It
shouldn't be. They should be. Yeah.
But is it? Or is
I think for the left families, the left-leaning families, yeah. Maybe even some of the right diehard MAGA families, maybe.
Well,
the ones that politicize everything.
Yeah. If your kid's out there doing that,
shame on you.
You're encouraging it, there's something deeply wrong with you.
Yeah.
Look, my son, self-admitted leftist. I'm not going to beat him up overside the head and go, no, you need to be conservative. No, and that's one of the things he said is he has friends whose parents disagree with their children's political belief and they punish them for it.
Yeah.
I said, Ben, I'm never going to punish you for it. I am going to challenge you. I'm going to make you think. And you're not going to get away with this. Well, I don't want to talk about it right now.
Yeah.
No, you brought it up. We're going to talk about it. So
my youngest is left-leaning, leftist, and it's all of what she views, and I've told her that, but I don't beat her up on it. Now the rest of the family gives her crap about it. They always, because they're all conservative, so they make a point out of making fun of Jenna being a left-leaning person. But it's like I tried to like defend her and say, look, she's entitled to her view, no matter how wrong she is. She's entitled to her view.
And I agree. I completely agree. And that's what I try to tell Ben. And, my hope is that someday, and this is what I've said for many years, the reason I do this is for my son. Someday he's going to want to know more about me and he will listen to this and all the shows and stuff I've done. And hopefully that will influence him, even if right now I'm not. And, you can't compete. They used to talk about in the film True Lies. Remember Tom Arnold's line about you're not her parents. MTV's her parents.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I mean, today it's just YouTube. And even with the filters on and everything else, I can't watch him 24/7. For God's sakes, the kid stays up all damn night. He stays up till 2, 3 in the morning, and then I'm not doing that. So I can't. I can shut it off. Sure, that's one way to parent. But it's not the way I want to do it. Is that, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I doubt it because it is my story.
It is your story, Dave.
So there is that. So the whole DNC protest, if you haven't seen it, it's hysterical. As so many have said on Twitter or X, the leftists are singing again, which might be the greatest line in the world. But I had no idea that was Bette Midler. If you had asked me 1,000 times, I would have never come up.
Were there nurses and doctors out there dancing in the background?
Not that I saw.
All right.
But I didn't watch it either. But
I bet they all had their COVID shots before they went and performed.
All masked up. Why are people masking up again?
I have no Ebola. I don't know.
Ebola's not coming here.
No.
And even if it does, the odds on never. I feel like I'm being transported back to 2014 again when I had the same argument with other people again. Not naming any names. Sean Hannity. About this. And you're not going to catch Ebola, folks. You are 99.9999% more likely to die of West Nile virus than you are of Ebola. But you don't care about that because it's not in the news. And President Obama didn't bring him here. Speaking of President Obama, the Death Star opening.
Oh, dude.
Am I the only one saying this? What the hell does it say on that building? I have yet to see a photograph that actually you can read the words on that building. I'm not trying to ruin anything, but
I have no idea, but I did see that the bee is making fun of it, right? Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station, cackles Obama.
Well, there's all kinds of issues with that too, about who's getting paid and who's not getting paid. And I don't know. Look, the guy's the main character in his own story. He can do what he wants. If I was to build a building to honor me, it wouldn't look like that. But at the same time, I'd make sure that the writing on it is actually legible.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Welcome back. I'm Dave.
I am Rod.
And you may have noticed, perhaps not, you may have noticed that the most important sporting event in the history of humanity is going on right now.
It is.
There is another game that starts in precisely 2 hours and 30 minutes. I will not be missing. And that, of course,
is that the big one?
It's game 2 of the College World Series, Oklahoma versus North Carolina.
Okay. I was thinking of something else.
Well, is it not also, there's something else going on. What is it?
There is. I thought, where is it? Let me find it. I thought it's Major League Cricket.
That's going on too.
And
we've had the opening weekend of Major League Cricket, and Seattle and San Francisco have both been moderately successful. Yeah. Both have had
moderately.
One win. Yeah. I am impressed with the cricket season so far. Every game I have watched has been over 400 runs. They've all been in the 219 to 220 range. They've been very exciting. A lot of.
The last game last night, the Unicorns did not hit 200, but they were bowling well. But yeah, Seattle plays at 130.
Seattle got down big to Washington the other night. Gave up like 150 in the first 7 overs, and then came back to win it. So it was pretty exciting. There's something else going on too, though. What is that?
It's the World Cup.
Oh yeah, the patriotism of the World Cup.
Yeah.
So I did not go to Seattle for the game on Friday. I did watch it. Okay, I will admit I watched it. Rod can guarantee that I watched it because I was texting him during the game, asking questions, and a couple of observations here. Number one, if you, like me and Bill, are just either a casual or not even a soccer fan, World Cup soccer far better than Premier League or European soccer. Far better. Far more entertaining. Far more fluid, I guess.
I think it's the stakes that are on the line because it's the tournament style of play, right? It's the pressure.
It's a different style of play. And I did a lot of research on this because it is my story.
Sure.
And what I learned was that in the Premier League, the English football leagues, because who cares about France and Italy? That crap. Nobody cares. In the English football league system, they play what is the rough equivalent of the neutral zone trap in hockey.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who are old enough to remember the neutral zone trap back in the early 90s, the New Jersey Devils were famous for this. It made for, and I'm being polite here, it made for literally the most boring hockey you have ever seen in your life.
Mm-hmm.
It was just everything that you hate about soccer today was hockey in the early 90s because of the neutral zone trap. And that's essentially what they do in the professional leagues.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody, having watched the World Cup, this is the part that baffles me, nobody in these European leagues, the English Football League, says, hey, maybe we should learn a lesson here and kind of open this up a little bit. The United States and the NFL, remember when we had cornerbacks that could clothesline receivers? And we said, that's kind of cutting down on the scoring. It's not as exciting. Maybe we should back off a little bit on that and kind of rein in the defenses a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Much more exciting game now. Baseball. We want home runs. So we've tweaked the game in various ways to make sure that we get more home runs, which hopefully Oklahoma will hit 15 or 20 of them today, and we'll end this thing today, and we won't have to play a game 3 tomorrow. But soccer, for some reason, particularly the English Football League, not learning that lesson as far as I can see.
Yeah, I would agree. I think even in this last cycle for the English Premier League, the Arsenal were the winners, but they had 0 penalties given and 0 red cards given, although there's a lot of questions about how that happened, because there was definitely fouls that should have been. But their style of play was they drug out the game and delayed the game and tried to get set plays, and they won off of set plays, which is not exciting.
Well, of course, in the NBA, they have that problem with not calling fouls on people, too, or calling fouls that are just not foul. For what it's worth, I have watched now 3 games of the World Cup, and it's a much better game. This international game, much better game. It's actually enjoyable. And watching the United States play on Friday, particularly, I can show you the text I was sitting around. I was like, dude, they're moving the ball around. Why don't they do this in the MSL or MLS or whatever the hell it is?
MLS, yeah. Which I don't watch.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does, because from what I can tell, basically soccer purists think that the MLS is, not real. So all this to say that Friday morning, before the American game versus Australia, is Australia any kind of actual powerhouse?
They're not like the South American teams or Europe.
Like Paraguay, who we beat before.
Paraguay, yeah. I mean, they're not like the Brazil. Brazil is like the South American team. Mexico gives us trouble. There is a hatred between U.S. and Mexico. The game gets very physical.
Yes, I've seen that. So before the game here in Seattle, the Seattle Times runs a newspaper article on Friday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in some ways, the transition to online newspapering has been an advantage, because now they don't have to print this shit and have it, taped to their walls anymore. But they run an article about how soccer fans in Seattle are concerned because they don't feel very patriotic.
Imagine that.
And there's a lot of conflict in their minds, and so they're going to go to the game, but they're just kind of going to sit on their hands and go, well, I hope we win, but if we cheer and the U.S. wins, then we're afraid that that'll make Trump look better. Not making that up. You probably can't read it online anymore, because 6 hours later, the U.S. has not just beaten Australia. We crushed Australia. And in the process of doing this, you would have thought that stadium, Seattle Stadium, in Seattle, Washington. You would have thought it was the White House on June 14th.
Red, white, and blue everywhere.
It was as patriotic as display you've ever seen. People from beginning to end, from outside the stadium before there was a guy dressed as a bald eagle. Now, this is a Seattle thing. You'd have to understand this, but he's dressed as a bald eagle, and he's sitting on the shoulders of a guy who's wearing a Mariners jersey.
Okay.
Now, for those of you who don't get the reference, we had a pitcher some years ago who was in New York or somewhere, who was getting ready to pitch the game, and they released a bald eagle to fly around the stadium, and it ended up landing on his shoulder.
Oh, wow.
It was fantastic. And so you could, for a long time, you could buy dolls of this guy with an eagle on his shoulder and stuff like that. It was great.
That must have been kind of frightening on his behalf.
That's what he said. He was like, I don't know. I'm afraid to move because he can feel the talons digging, but they're not,
Well, and those talons could dig right in, and
I'm sure that the management of the Mariners was not happy, but it became a very popular thing. And James Paxton was the pitcher, who was actually from Canada, so it was kind of even better than that. So anyway, this guy's sitting. So just this incredible patriotic display. Friday in Seattle. So 6 hours after running this headline about how Americans are concerned about showing patriotism at the U.S.-Australia game here in Seattle, 6 hours after that, Rod, almost immediately after the victory, the Seattle Times headline on their website is, "Great patriotic display in Seattle. Fans excited, cheering for America. America, rah, rah, we're number one." It's like, and so people all over X are posting the two headlines next to each other going, what happened? We said wonderingly in the meantime. I don't know. There are other things going on that are distracting me. Obviously, the College World Series has got my attention more than anything else right now. And cricket. Again, most of you people don't like cricket. We get that. But it's a great game.
I doubt they've seen it. They've actually seen the T20 stuff.
Probably not. I mean, it's gonna be even better when they get the stadium up here built.
Yeah,
because then I can go to games and stuff like that. But anyway, the World Cup is going on, and the United States is being spectacularly successful. Spectacular. They played 2 games.
Well, they won their group though, and they have one more game to play. Turkey, with the E at the end of it. That's causing a big stink, but they won their group, which means that they get to start the elimination rounds on the West Coast, playing on the West Coast in America.
In Los Angeles, as I understand it.
Yeah.
So there is a possibility. It's a very outside possibility, but there is a chance. If there is a God in heaven, this will happen. There is a chance that we could play England on July 4th in Philadelphia.
Really?
There is an outside chance of that.
That's not going to go over well for the English.
That would be so fantastic. Would that not be
the trolling? Oh my gosh.
Would that not be the game of all time?
For our 250th?
Yeah.
Talk about UFC match.
Tell me you would watch that, because I would certainly watch that. And, it's kind of one of those things where if they win, do they go tongue-in-cheek like Charles did, about, well, if it hadn't been for the American Revolution, if it hadn't been for us, you'd be speaking French, or do we just kick their ass again? And then,
or do we become part of Great Britain again if they win, or do they become part of the United States?
Can you imagine what will happen to Philadelphia if that happens and we win? You'll have
oh my gosh.
USA fans walking through the streets, picking up red, white, and blue trash cans and dumping out all the trash and taking, kind of like the Knicks fans were doing. And
yeah, there you go.
Awesome, wouldn't it? Of course, it's not likely to happen, but it is an outside possibility.
I'm still cracking up.
Because?
Well, especially all the travelers that are still amazed at America. You all have air conditioning in here.
Everywhere there's air conditioning. Buc-ee's, And we don't even have Buc-ee's out here. So it's,
Yeah.
you know, I think the one that I saw this morning that just really says it all for me.
Yeah.
Somebody said that the World Cup is just the United States having a giant sleepover party with the cousins we never get to see because our parents all hate each other. Welcome back. I am Dave.
Welcome back. I am Dave's co-host, Rod.
His non-PCs, NPC, non-player.
NPC.
Right.
Non-player character. Yeah.
Because as we have learned, this is all about me.
It would seem.
Which is kind of a joke, but kind of not, I guess. I don't know. Everybody sees the world this way, as you are the main character in your story, which of course makes sense because you are.
Yeah.
Psychologically, though, it causes problems because we actually think that other people think about us or care about those little embarrassing foibles that we have, when the truth is, they're so focused on themselves that they don't even notice you or care about your little foibles or embarrassing moments. And yet we drive ourselves nuts thinking, oh, that was so embarrassing. One of the most embarrassing things that ever happened to me down at the waterfront enlisted dining facility down here at Bangor. It was an old dining facility that we used to have and had a soda machine, just typical soda machine that you put your cup on.
Yeah.
And we went there to eat one day because we were in refit, and they had strawberry soda, which for me, I mean, it's a dumb thing, but I like strawberry soda. You don't normally get that. Normally you get Coke, root beer, diet, whatever. So I'm like, yes. So I'm having strawberry soda. And I went back to get more, and everybody was eating, so the line was empty. So I just went to the line, and I went to get the strawberry soda, and as I hit the thing, the lever popped off and fell off. Now, what you don't know is the syrup is not under pressure, but the carbonated water is. So the syrup just starts dripping out, but the carbonated water just explodes all over me.
Yeah. In your whites? Did you have whites on?
We were in dungarees at the time, but
okay.
Still, I mean, you're getting soaking wet. And stupid me, I'm like, well, just move, dummy. But I can't. I am paralyzed by this. And
You weren't trying to stop it or anything?
I'm screaming, hey, this thing's exploding. It's stopping, whatever. The head cook, a guy by the name of Dave Allen, walks out from behind the line there. He sees what's happening. He immediately does what he should do, which is start laughing.
Yeah.
Eventually, we get the whole thing shut off. I'm soaking wet. Walk back out of the dining room, which is dead silent. Everybody's laughing their ass off as I walk in this room. I remember this as one of the most embarrassing things that's ever happened to me. At the reunion 4 or 5 years ago, nobody remembered. Nobody. And this is what I'm talking about. We think these things are all about us, and the reality is nobody cares.
So, since you're the main character of your story, Dave, what is your story? Is it a Hallmark movie? Is that what your main life is?
Novel, easily.
Mine's a sitcom.
Yeah. There is Life with Rod. There is a new internet. It started as a trend, which was main character syndrome. Pointing out people who are behaving in a completely socially oblivious way.
A lot of influencers.
Like everything is about me and nothing else matters. Like, there's a video of which one was it that got canceled? One of them is a woman climbing over the seats in the airplane because she's got to get on she's got to catch her next flight. She's not going to wait in this line. Gets all the way to the front of the plane, having climbed over the seats, and the door's still shut.
Yeah.
And she doesn't understand why the stewardess won't just open the door right now and let me out. Well, because it can. There's another one where the gal just walks in front of people who are doing wedding photos and blah, blah, blah. And some of these are real and some of them are not. But the idea here, this main character syndrome, is becoming enough of a thing, Rod, that it has actually been described scientifically.
Mm-hmm.
People are starting to study this complete oblivious behavior that we are displaying as human beings anymore. And it's not just like my son, who's kind of socially awkward and doesn't really have a spatial awareness of things and that sort of thing. We're talking about people who just believe that everyone else in the world is just there as a supporting character for them, for their story. And I thought, this is weird. Now, it's been around for a while, I would say, but it never had a name before. But I mean, you could go back to, this is celebrity behavior as long as I can remember. This is Madonna, acting the way she acted back in the 80s. This is just people attention whoring is what I call it. Attention whores are going to attention whore. It's just what they do. But it seems like it's so much more than that, because these people seem to actually believe that they're the only ones that actually matter and that everything else is just a supporting cast for their stories.
Well, I think it's been this way for a little while. I mean, just look at the 2024 Paris Olympics, the breakdancing and ray gun. Is she not a main character in her life?
The most embarrassing moment for Australia has ever had.
Yeah.
So look at this couple a couple of weeks ago who are all over the internet because they decided to abort a baby who might have been Down syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And what are they upset about? Are they upset about the fact that, well, maybe we made a morally compromised decision? Or are they upset about the fact that people who don't matter to them have an issue with what they're doing and have criticized them for it? Well, how dare you criticize me? That's to me, that's a great example of this. But they're
going viral for the wrong reason. Right? They're going viral, but not in the way they want.
Not the way they wanted to. And so they lost control of their main character syndrome, and all of a sudden they're not in control. And it's like it blew their mind that, wait, you mean other people have feelings too? Other people have opinions too that don't match ours?
Their aborted baby became the main character.
Yes. Main character syndrome is more than just a social media joke. Scientists, probably funded by your tax dollars, are arguing that it reflects a deeper philosophical problem, seeing oneself as a central figure in reality while actually psychologically treating others as secondary characters.
Yeah.
Human life naturally creates narratives. It just does. This is what history is. It's your personal narrative. But problems are going to come up when those narratives become so self-focused that other people's experiences, perspectives, are just either ignored or diminished.
Yeah.
This has been around for a while. This is a new name for it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now it's like the main character syndrome turns life into a simulation where you are the only real person, right? It's a simulation it's just like playing a video game is what it ends up being.
And yet it seems like you're treating other people as NPCs, or, as I have learned from my son, non-player characters, or as I've learned from No Man's
Quest
Sky.
givers, right?
That mindset just encourages viewing others primarily in terms of how they affect your own story, rather than as fully realized individuals with their own lives, their own goals, and their own struggles. Which is true.
Yeah, I was just trying to mine that ore. Get away from me, Sentinel.
Which, of course, leads to the development of narcissistic tendencies, which is how you get a couple videotaping themselves because we're going to abort this child and filming it on a golf course, initially. Yeah. That's pure narcissism. It's pure attention whoring. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And the problem, of course, is that it's philosophically in error. Emmanuel Levinas taught us that ethics begins when we encounter another person as a genuinely real and morally significant person, not merely as a means to our own ends. And unfortunately, this main character syndrome allows people to see other people as just that means. And here's the problem, Rod. if you go on X today, you will see, and just look for main character syndrome. I don't know if it's a hashtag or whatever. See how many videos are being posted by people complaining about other people's main character syndrome while not realizing that they're treating those people as non-player characters, non-NPCs for their own, I'm important, look at me, I'm showing you what everybody else is doing wrong syndrome. It's self-feeding. I hate the term self-licking ice cream cone, but that's kind of what it is.
A self-licking ice cream cone.
And of course, social media amplifies this.
Yeah.
You know, you're encouraged on social media to frame everything as your own personal movie. Performance, aesthetics, self-branding. And that makes your life become a curated story rather than an actual moral or reality. And I joke about it. I've been joking about it for a couple of days now about this. This is my show. This is my story. This is my this. This is my this. And Rod's just a opinion. But if Rod actually believed that I thought that, do you think he would be here? Of course not. I hope.
Oh, I would troll the hell out of you. You know me.
Right. And
I do that already, but
not patting myself on the back or anything here. I'd like to think I don't have, this idea of main character syndrome. But I'm telling you, I'm seeing a lot more of it, even on the Democrat National Convention Committee's idiotic celebration with Bette Midler. Look at me. I'm singing against Trump.
Yeah.
Look at me.
I'm just waiting.
Algae.
I'm just waiting for the Scooby-Doo ending.
Look, every person, Rod, you, me, Bill, we're all the protagonists in our own story. It's a life, it's complex and meaningful, and it should be. Ethical maturity requires recognizing that we are not the sole main character in the world. And I'm just of the opinion, and maybe this is just me, maybe this idea of sharing people that we have decided are guilty of main character syndrome is just a little bit of main character syndrome of our own.
Maybe.
Just a thought. Welcome back. I'm Dave.
I'm Rod.
So I love not yet. We only do that in the first and last segment, right?
I do. I don't know what segment we're on anymore.
Well, the third one.
Okay.
Of course, is part of the debate about whether or not we should cut one segment from the show. We've been talking a lot about this lately, and what can we do to make the show better? What can we do to make the show different? And we've even asked some researchers, one person, what they think. And I don't know. The hour format works for me, but maybe it doesn't work for you. But here's the thing: I know that people listen to podcasts differently than they listen to radio. They listen to podcasts while they're multitasking, which is the same as radio. But number two, they almost always have headphones on. Very rarely do people listen to podcasts without headphones or in a car, maybe on your car speaker. But they also listen to it in chunks. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
The space of a workout, the space of a walk, whatever. Unlike a radio show where you're stuck. I mean, you have to listen to the whole 3 hours and you miss something. People come back to it. I know this because the research shows this and because this is how I listen to podcasts. You don't think I sit here and listen to a podcast straight all the way through all the time, do you? No. I also know this. I also listen at 1.3 times speed. So that because 1.5 sounds too weird, but 1.3 doesn't sound too weird, but it goes quick enough that I can, get through it. So anyway, we're trying to decide that. So the answer to your question, Rod, is this is segment 3.
Okay.
So you were not Friar Rod, you were just Rod.
Okay. I'm just Rod for this one then. Okay.
Welcome back. I'm Dave. Should be your clue.
I'm Rod.
As you know, before I was so rudely interrupted, was saying,
by the Friar.
Yes. I love the state of Wyoming. All things being equal, it's where I would live. All things are not equal, but the state of Wyoming, in certain areas, has banned hunting.
hunting in general or hunting certain things?
Deer hunting.
Okay.
Nobody in northern Wyoming was believing hunters who were coming into emergency rooms there, saying that they had, quote, been attacked by deer, unquote. Several men showed up with bruised ribs, busted knees, torn jackets after hunting near the Bighorn Mountains, which, for the record, is one of my favorite areas. The Bighorn Mountains are amazing.
Okay.
So the stories were written off. Oh, sure, a deer attacked you. The hunters were too embarrassed to admit that they'd slipped and fallen, blah, 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 blah. But it is the 21st century.
Yes.
Which also speaks to why we haven't found Bigfoot, by the way, because there are trail cameras everywhere now in the Bighorn Mountains of Montana, where these hunters are hunting for the deer. And lo and behold, we have a video now of a hunter lining up a shot, a perfect shot on a still buck that is standing 20 yards away. A perfect shot.
Yeah.
Not a hunter, so I don't know. It looks to be the perfect shot. And the camera has this whole thing picked up, and it's like, okay. And maybe people are taking videos with themselves as they're doing this. I don't know.
Maybe.
But as this hunter lines up to shoot, from the right comes Clever Girl. That's just what I'm going to call her, because she got no horns, so she's obviously a female deer. We'll just call her Clever Girl. On Jurassic Park, she comes out and just waylays this guy before he can shoot. The trail camera changed everything. The footage shows a hunter lining up a legal shot on a buck when another deer suddenly charges from the trees, slams into him before the rest of the herd scatters. And she hits him hard, backs him into a tree, kind of knocks him loopy. It's great. It's just awesome. I don't know why this is so funny to me, but it is. So wildlife officials in Wyoming have now at least temporarily banned hunting in a little area there, while specialists study what they are calling extremely rare herd behavior.
Huh. Well, I don't know. Squirrels are eating meat now, right? So
researchers say that deer can react to danger, but learning to interrupt a human hunter before a shot, well, we've never heard of that before, but it's here on the video.
Yeah.
So until the officials figure out whether the animals are responding to stress, repeated hunting pressure, or, quote, something no one fully understands yet, unquote, the area will stay closed. And the story has left the hunters wondering the same uncomfortable question.
Who's the hunted and
what
who's the prey?
The hunted remember. Clever girl. Welcome back. I'm Rabbi Dave.
And I'm Rod, the friar.
So, what a day, huh?
Yeah.
You know the most interesting story I came across this week?
What? What's that?
I got in an argument with someone. Number one, soccer, the term soccer, we always get shit from it, from people who say, well, it's not soccer, it's football. The rest of the world calls it football. I think I sent you this.
You did. It was a very good article.
It's actually an English word. The English actually started this, calling it soccer, because it's some sort of short contraction, bastardized version of association.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what they called their soccer leagues, was associations. And so it became association soccer, kind of like IngSoc.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I mean, it's very similar to that. They have a passion for that sort of thing, and I guess it's what their characters do. So
we just make acronyms over in America. We're
So the next time somebody tells you can't say, don't call it soccer, you have to call it football, you say, no, it's soccer. And if you don't like it, well, move to Germany or something. Stop standing in line at the Taco Bell or the Buc-ee's or sucking up our air conditioning.
Dutch Bros.
Yes. A line of Dutch people at the Dutch Bros. And the only thing I can think is, do they understand it's not really Dutch? Have you ever been to a Dutch Bros?
Yeah.
They're terrible. Absolutely.
I only get coffee, so I don't get anything.
Have coffee. All they have is a dessert stuff.
They have coffee.
Yeah, but it's not on the menu. You have to ask for it.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And not to mention the fact that this is why I hate going to Dutch Brothers here. My wife loved Dutch Brothers. And she'll come in, bat her eyes at me and say, can we go get Dutch Bros? Because she doesn't like to draw it. And I hate going over there. It's a 20-minute drive there, 20-minute drive back. So I'm already out, 60% of an hour. Then you got to sit in line.
Yeah.
If you can even get into the line, because they've designed these things so poorly. These are not Chick-fil-A in and out kind of things. No. Which, by the way, our Chick-fil-A is completely built. Can't open because Kitsap County is holding up a permit. The whole thing is
nice.
Was hired. Everything can't open. So anyway, but Dutch Bros, then you got to get in the line, and then you're getting frustrated because, well, I got here before that person. How come they're going before me? The zipper people. Anyway, I hate Dutch Bros. I hate going there. Plus, their coffee just isn't that great, to be honest. I mean, if I wanted a cup full of sugar, I could just go to Starbucks and get a cup full of sugar. I mean, the video this week of the Starbucks drink that my wife likes, the latte, that's basically just, that much sugar in the cup.
Yeah.
Why don't we just go buy some sugar? It'd be cheaper. If I want that much sugar, I definitely want a Coca-Cola. Because it tastes better. And well, there you go. So anyway, I got in this argument with somebody because I ordered a tea at Starbucks, a spiced tea.
A chai tea?
No, I wanted a spiced tea because, I say this politely, much as the guy ranting about Starbucks sizes, grande, venti, tall. The only one that isn't Italian is tall, or the only one that doesn't mean what you think it means. Chai means tea. It's just another word for tea. So what? So you're ordering tea? What? Well, it turns out
TT.
It turns out, Rod, that there actually is a difference between chai and tea.
Okay.
Do you know
what is that difference? I don't.
Do you care what the difference is?
For this conversation, I care, Dave, because you are the main character.
And without that, then nobody's going to get anything out of this, and then I'm failing, and I have to be embarrassed again, and I have to care what people think about me, right? There actually is a difference between chai and tea, and I did not know this. And it's as simple as this. Are you ready? It's not where it comes from.
I'm ready.
It's not where it comes from at all, because most of the tea comes from places like, India and China, right? It's how the tea gets to you. Not making this up. Chai if by land, tea if by sea.
Okay.
And on that note, I'm Rabbi Dave.
I'm Friar Rod.
Let me try that again. I'm Rabbi Dave.
And I'm Friar Rod.
And this has been a very self-centered episode of
What the Frock?
So grab your frog and come aboard. This nonsense can't be ignored. We joke, we gripe, we spin, we sing. While Rome burns on, we'll do our thing. What the frock is going on here? We may not know, but still we cheer. Raise your voice, your glass, your brow, because the frock is happening now.